evolutionary propaganda. I've been born in Romania. My wife has been born in Romania as well. I've been born in an atheist family. Sorry. My father was an officer in the army. My mother was a teacher for 15 years. They didn't give me any religious education at all. They've been influenced by the notorious dictator Nicolae Ceausescu. After his death and after the revolution, Romania regained its freedom of religion. My mother became a Christian, and through her witnessing, I have become a Christian too. Now, why this is important is because I have experienced propaganda firsthand. I have eyewitness propaganda. What I'm talking about. You know, we used to see these sort of pictures every day, everywhere. They were in restaurants, they were in cinemas, they were on the streets, they were in our textbooks, they were everywhere. You know, nicely pictured photos with smiling faces, happy children, the economy was growing, everything was so nice, everything was beautiful. And on top of everything, it was the loving leader who was caring for his people. What was behind this? It was poverty. It was a prisons, a kind of a series of prisons in which so many intellectuals, great people, have been tortured and died. They were queues. We were queuing for every single basic thing. We were queuing for milk, for water, for butter, for petrol, for everything. And then there were so many orphans because their parents have been killed by the regime for not obeying the rules. This was all behind these nice pictures. It was hiding this. And what struck me was that I used to work for an atheist guy. And he was always inviting me to watch programs, atheist programs and evolutionary programs and all this sort of stuff. And I was shocked by their certainty, the colors in which they painted their beliefs. And I really started to look into this, and I said, well, let's see what's behind this. And I've noticed the same thing. It's just propaganda. There is nothing really serious behind their claims. Now, this is a typical example of propaganda. I let you guess which picture better represents reality. Now, this is what propaganda is. It's a biased information of misleading nature used to promote a political view or a point of view or a worldview, right? Now, in my opinion, this is one of the architects, one of the greatest architects of evolutionary propaganda. How many of you heard about Richard Dawkins? Right? He spent 150 grand only on this campaign to tell people that there is no God. Now, here are some of his claims, and I want you to pay attention on this and see the spirit of it. Right? This is what he says. Today, the theory of evolution is about as much open to doubt as the theory that the Earth goes around the sun. How many of you doubt the fact that the Earth goes around the sun? Is there anybody who doubts that? How many of you doubt the theory of evolution? You see, he's trying to put them on the same level. I don't know on what basis. Going on, and I'm quoting him. Of course, in science, there are things that are open to doubt and things that need to be discussed. But among the things that science does know, evolution is about as certain as anything we know. Let's say it's as certain as the law of gravity, is as certain as the speed of light, is as certain as everything else we know. What is he basing on his assertions? I have no idea. The theory of evolution by cumulative natural selection is the only theory we know of that is in principle capable of explaining the existence of organized complexity. The only theory that can explain organized complexity. Now I tell you this, he's a liar. Because if you watch the movie Expelled, as we talked, in that theory he says that organized complexity as DNA might have come from extraterrestrial sources. But, you know, he's coming with this propaganda sort of assertions, saying that this is the only theory, is a proven fact. He goes on and says, it is absolutely safe to say that if you meet somebody who claims not to believe in evolution, that person is ignorant, stupid, or insane. Do you believe in evolution, guys? Well, sorry for you then. Really sorry for you. He pushes the boundaries so far, right? Now, there are some other guys who are scientists, who study facts, and their conclusions are a bit different. Let's see what this guy has to say. Wolfgang Schmidt, mathematician, physicist, philosopher of science. We are told dogmatically that evolution is an established fact, that we are never told, but we are never told who has established it and by what means, and jumping few rows, but we are left entirely in the dark on the crucial question wherein precisely this evidence consists. So we are told that the evolution is a proven fact, but we are never told who proved it, by what means, and where is the evidence for it. Now, to be honest with you, did you ever doubt the existence of God? We all did. And is in part because of this sort of pressure. When they come and say, listen, it's a proven fact, are you insane? Are you stupid not to accept that? But when you really go into it, you find it is very thin. The proofs behind, the proven facts are very, very thin. So I want you to learn to resist this propaganda. Learn that there is a tactic behind. I.L. Cohen says, or used to say, every single concept advanced by the theory of evolution and amended thereafter because the theory of evolution has been amended, it would have not worked as Darwin proposed it, is imaginary as it is not supported by scientifically established probability concepts. And this has to do with the fine-tuning. Darwin was wrong. The theory of evolution might be the worst mistake made in science. Now, who was this I.L. Cohen? He was a member of the New York Academy of Sciences, officer of the Archaeological Institute of America. So he was somebody. And he says, guys, listen, it is not as it seems to be. This might be the biggest mistake. And I do support that idea. I think evolution was the biggest mistake. But there were interests. There were moral interests. There were all sorts of other interests involved. H.S. Lipson, I will just jump over it. I think we need to go further than this and admit that the only acceptable explanation is creation. I know this is an anathema to physicists, and indeed it is to me. He was an atheist. But we must not reject the theory that we do not like if experimental evidence supports it. So if you cannot explain the existence of the universe in any other way, you need to accept creation. If you cannot explain the origin of life any other way, you need to accept creation. If this is all we can come up with, that's it, let's face it. Is this the same spirit as Richard Dawkins? No, really, because Richard Dawkins is a propagandist. Now, why is he a propagandist? Because he has an agenda. And in his book, in The God Delusion, he says, if this book works as I intended, religious readers who open it will be atheists when they put it down. His intention is to convert you to his religion, to his atheism. This is his agenda. And unfortunately, he really succeeded on that among very, very many believers. Now, another one of the horsemen of New Atheism is Christopher Hitchens. And look at what he says. I'm not even an atheist so much as I am an anti-theist. I don't like God. I hate God. He says God is not great. This is his book. No, he died, yeah, unfortunately he died in 2011. But when you say that God is not great, don't you assert that God exists? So he's trying to say God exists, God doesn't exist, but I hate him. And he's trying to impose his view. And he goes even further than that, and look what he's saying. I think religion should be treated with ridicule, hatred, and contempt, and I claim that right. So guys, don't get impressed when you are ridiculed at school. Don't get impressed when they hate you and they make your views look silly. This is part of their agenda. They all do the same thing. They don't even say, you know, there is no God. They say, oh, come on, there is not a daddy in the sky and all these things. Don't tell me about this. They try to mock you. This is their agenda. Try to understand who you are dealing with. Daniel Dennett, this is very important. He's a professor at a university in America, Tufts University. And look what he has to say about education, right? Now we are talking about us, about our children. They will see me just as another liberal professor trying to persuade them out of some of their convictions, and they are dead right about that. That's what I am, and that's what I'm trying to do. He will try to persuade you out of your beliefs. This is his agenda. He doesn't care about truths. He cares about your beliefs. He doesn't want you to believe anything. Richard Rorty used to say, so we are going to go right on trying to discredit you in the eyes of your children, trying to strip your fundamentalist religious community of dignity, trying to make your views seem silly rather than discussable, with we try to arrange things so that the students who enter as bigoted, homophobic, religious fundamentalists will leave college with views more like our own. This is what they are trying to do. This is what our children will have to face. This is what everybody who goes to college and uni will have to face. They will try to impose their views on you, not the truth. They won't simply tell you the facts. Steven Weinberg, who is a Nobel laureate in physics, he says, and I quote, "I personally feel that the teaching of modern science is corrosive of religious belief, and I'm all for that. If scientists can destroy the influence of religion on young people, then I think it may be the most important contribution that we can make." A Nobel Prize winner says the biggest contribution is to talk you out of your religion. I'm really sorry for him. If that's the biggest contribution a scientist can make, he expects so little. But this is his agenda. He's happy with that. And I think he was the one who was trying to talk out of his religion John Lennox. How many of you heard about John Lennox, Oxford professor? Charles Potter, humanist. "Education is thus the most powerful ally of humanism, and every American public school or British is a school of humanism. What can the theistic Sunday or Sabbath school meeting for an hour a week and teaching only a fraction of the children can do to stem the tide of a 5-day long of humanistic teaching?" They know that we don't stand a chance. Their political agenda is to create humanists, new humanists. Now, this is a very dangerous guy, Bart Ehrman. He's a Bible scholar. He knows the Bible like no one else. He knows exactly what he's doing. And he wrote this book, Misquoting Jesus, in which he says that the Bible is full of mistakes, full of contradictions. There is no reliability on that at all. And he says different authors have different points of view. You can't just say, "I believe the Bible," because the Bible contradicts itself. When you say, "I believe the Bible," who do you believe? Because the Bible contradicts itself. And he's a Bible scholar. Right? Sam Harris, another horseman of new atheism. Theology is ignorance with wings. Whatever has to do with religion, theology is ignorance. Right? Now I have a handout. Can you hand out this? I have some papers for you guys, and I really want you to go through them. Let me see where I put them. Yeah, Jonah, you can do that. Please, can you hand them out? Now, this thing came from the Council of Europe Parliamentary Assembly. And the title of it is this: "The Danger of Creationism in Education." This is what they are trying to convince us. I'm not going to go through it. I just want to read one point and see how it sounds for you. Point 3 I'm going to read. "Creationism, born of the denial of evolution of species through natural selection, was for a long time an almost exclusively American phenomenon. Today, creationist ideas are tending to find their way into Europe, and their spread is affecting quite a few of Council of Europe member states." Now, it comes from the Council of Europe. It will go to the Minister of Education, who will try to impose it on the teachers, who will try to impose it on our children. Now, what's the solution to this? How can we resist that? To be honest with you, I don't have a corporate answer to that. I don't know what we as church should do. Probably meetings like this. Do you feel this helps? Right. Probably these sort of things would help us, because we live in a very secular society. We should know and we should learn and we should encourage each other how to defend our faith. But I want to tell you a solution on a personal level, and this is what I have been through, and this is what I want to share with you in a few seconds. I went through a very tough time in my life. My ex-wife left me. I was lonely. I was depressed. I was in a very bad health state. My finances were all over the place. I wanted to die. I wanted to die. And I said, "Lord, if you find a way to kill me, I'm not going to blame you. I don't want to end this mess. I don't want to live anymore. I don't care what happens to me. I can't kill myself. I know that's a sin. But if you find a bridge or a post or a tree or something, I'm happy. I wanted to die. I prayed to God for my death. And one day he said, I have unfinished business with you. You're not going to die. I have other plans. I have plans to give you a future and to give you hope and to give you a happy life. And God gave me another help, gave me a support, gave me Daniela, and gave me, through her, he gave me a completely different life. He gave me a new family. He restored my finances. He restored my health. He has miraculously set me debt-free. And when I saw the miracles he's done in my life, I said, Lord, because you gave me my life back, I'm going to devote my life to you. And I'm going to tell as many people as I can that evolution is a lie, that you are the real thing, and you are a miracle-making God. And you can turn any situations around. And there is nothing impossible for you. And I'm going to tell this. I'm going to devote my life to this cause, if you will allow me to. And now, if you really believe that God does exist, you should really think seriously to live your life according to your belief. If God believes and you only attend an hour a week, Sabbath school, and the sermon, that's not good enough. Rearrange your values, rearrange your priorities, and devote your life to God. This way we can stop the tide, right? I'm going to end by reading this text, Psalm 50 with 15. Call upon me in the day of the trouble. I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. May this will be my experience. This will be your experience. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.